Okay, hello and welcome everyone. I really appreciate your caring and your support and coming together to find a solution. We are recording this meeting for the benefit of those who cannot attend. If you're unhappy about your video, you can turn it off. I would like to first of all thank all of you community members for coming today. Also thank Richmond Police Department, especially our own Michelle, Manager of Crime Prevention at the Police Department, Captain Al Waye, and Officer Bashar Zaidan, who's here with us tonight. Also Chris, the property owner, who's been here since the last meeting, and business owners, True, who's here, and Fred, who may join us later. I would like to just emphasize that it all has been shocking to us, shooting at the neighborhood, a series of unexpected events. It has been very emotional for many of us, very concerning, very stressful. What we're trying to do here tonight to move on into finding a solution. And Michelle Milam has kindly accepted to moderate and run the meeting tonight towards that goal. Thank you very much. And please, Michelle, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sahilia. I really appreciate everyone who took their time out to be here tonight. And thank you for asking me to be the moderator. When I was approached first about doing this, one of the things that the organizers really stressed is that we really want to come together tonight to look for how can we find solutions going forward to help support safety in the neighborhood and in the business complex. And so we really want to keep that in mind. That was very important, as we move forward. As Sahilia acknowledged, obviously, some events have happened that have been pretty traumatic to the neighborhood. And we don't want to take away from that, but really we want to focus tonight on solutions and what we can do together. So I just want to welcome everyone to the call. For those of you who don't know me, I know I see some familiar names here, and there may be some names that I don't know. My name is Michelle Milam. I'm Crime Prevention Manager with the City of Richmond. I've been with the city about almost 14 years now, and I am a Richmond resident. I grew up in the city of Richmond, so I'm very excited to always do work in the city of Richmond and work with everybody here to try to make our city the best that it can be. A little bit about kind of tonight's agenda. So what we hope to accomplish tonight is to have an opportunity, one, to have some discussion about what kinds of things that we could work on constructively as a community to help improve safety both in the neighborhood and around the businesses. And I know I've spoken to at least two of the business owners. I know True is here, and shout out to him for being here when I know that he is out of town and wanted to make it a point to be here. We'll have a little bit of time on the agenda for maybe him to talk about what his hope is and how he wants to be a part of that process. So I just wanted to acknowledge the business owners who wanted to be a part of the solution and are here tonight. There's a couple of housekeeping issues that I wanted to acknowledge as well. So Captain Waye is here, as well as a couple of others in the group. And I wanted to acknowledge that I know everybody, a lot of people have asked specific questions around the shooting and the investigation. Really, other than what was released from social media right now, an active and not be discussed tonight. So for those of you who might have specific questions, really, there are some clear limits on what we can discuss tonight because it is an active investigation. I just want to let everybody know and stress, because I know that, the shooting followed by the investigation could have been triggering people, is that we're very limited on what we can discuss. No arrests have been made, and everybody has a due process. So we just ask people to be respectful of that. So if you have questions pertaining to that, LYA can talk about some of that in general, but there won't be any specifics asked about that. The other thing we just want to talk about tonight is and I think everybody in this group knows how to do this, is there's 50 people strong, maybe more on this call. There's a lot of folks here. We ask that everybody be respectful. Be mindful of your time when you're speaking. If someone else asks a question that you already needed to have answered, please be respectful and mindful of that. If you have a question or a comment, you can raise your hand using the raise your hand feature. Please don't physically raise your hand because I can't see all of y'all. I know Sohelia will be here. Maybe she can help me with that. But if you can, raise your hand or feel free to drop a question in the chat and I'll try to get to as many of those as we possibly can. And so again, finally, the purpose of tonight really is to facilitate some constructive dialogue. So we ask that if you come with a concern, that you also think about maybe some constructive ways of what we can do to work together. We have some suggestions from the department on things that we can do together. We also want to hear really from you all as a community of what you think can happen here. And so that really is the overview of tonight. Hopefully that's clear to everybody and everybody understands that. I see that Fred is on, and thank you so much, Fred, for being here. I appreciate you. And again, I want to acknowledge both of the businesses that are here. They both agreed to be here because they really wanted to be a part of the solution. And I think that's to their credit. So I wanted to give you guys a moment as business owners, True and Fred, if you guys wanted to share anything about what you, what your passion is about, being in this specific business area and working in the community, what you'd like to see going forward, and anything that you would like to share specifically for a few minutes, and then we'll get into really questions and answers, and we'll talk more about what kinds of things we can do to work together. So I don't know who may want to go first. True, I see.
I'll go first. No, I'll go first. It's Fred. I just want to address the people who attacked me and blame the whole shooting on me. Like the shooting was associated with me in the barbershop. I just want to know, I want to see the people who attacked me and blame me for this, first of all, because it was disgusting to me. I really felt horrible for being attacked. And I just want to know who those people are who blamed it on me. I want to have a voice now and don't just put that stuff out on social media and in cyberspace and send that out to millions of people like I got an innocent young lady shot, or it was somehow it happened from my business. I just want the people to identify who's blaming me.
So I definitely hear what you're saying, Fred. And, social media can be something where people, say things without maybe information. It might be detached. So I definitely understand and hear where you're coming from. Tonight really is not about blame. Tonight is really about trying to find solutions, what we can do to help seek some safety. But I definitely hear.
I think that's why a lot of people here is to point the finger at me. So here I am. I want to know who. I want to see the people by a show of hands and point at me. I want to see who's blaming me right now. I want to. So this could be the last night of me being attacked. So I won't be attacked no more. I want to address the attacks on me. And my heart goes out to the young lady. I'm glad she's alive. I'm glad all these businesses are still functioning. I'm glad we still got business. Whatever we salvage, we scared for our lives. We got to sneak in like a mouse in a mouse hole when the cat is in the other room, just so we won't be shot. I just want to see who's attacking me and blaming me, cause the uproar and the backlash got my shop searched and all kind of stuff. So yeah, a search was done in my shop. Yeah. So I just know it's 50-something people on here, 63 people. I just want to know who are the people that's attacking me and blaming me for all the problems of the parking lot, the parking. They saying there's drug dealers there, there's gang members inside my shop. I want to know who are these people. I want to meet these people.
Well, I really appreciate you for sharing that, Fred, and we definitely hear you. And I think most people here are tonight to not to blame, but to ask questions and find solutions. But I definitely hear where you're coming from. And I also want to give True an opportunity if there's anything you would like to share.
Yeah, what I see from what happened lately is like everybody been like hurting, and everybody's just kind of confused of like what's going on in their community. But then to me, it's like the best thing we should do now is just like give the business give the businesses a chance, a chance to like prove themselves, a chance to like give their service to the community. We're not bad people. You know, we just trying to be the one who to bring up to the city, you know, giving revenue to the city, you know, making good businesses. You know, we committed, you know, and then like all these critics, you know, saying, oh, because of this, because of that, that's why, you know, certain things happen, but really it's not. You know, things could happen in a certain time at any given time. You know, it was just bad luck that we had at that point in time. So all I wanted to just say is like, you know, just give us another chance to prove to you guys that we could give, you know, our food service to you guys and make this community better. You know, and I've been listening to the community. Hey, put more garbage can. Hey, pick up your own trash. You know, I've been doing myself. You know, I don't need nobody to like come in here and you know, do it for me. You know, because you know, and because I do it for the community. You know, whatever you guys tell me, I'll do it. So if you guys would just like, you know, see it on the bright side, like, hey, everything is all right, you know, and just give us another chance, and we'll fix this together. You know, we'll whatever you guys have in mind, just let us know, and then we'll try to make it better. You know, that's really it. Because like where I come from, like nothing was given to me. You know, I never inherited anything in my life, and my mom and dad was like a recycle person, you know. Like I know you guys live here for like so many years, 30, 20 years, 60 years, 50 years maybe, but you guys never had parents that recycle, pick up garbage, do people garbage can, and and raise you guys. And whatever I have right now is all hard work and sweat and tears. And I'm really proud of it, you know. And I'm doing this for the community, the kids, and for you guys just to like not show any support. There's only like 4 or 5 of the community that gave me full support, that really like show love, and without like even saying anything. That like, you know what I mean? That means a lot, because to me as an Asian person, like I was meant to be the underdog, the one that, oh, you shouldn't complain. You know, you the little guy. If you're still alive, that's it. You know, but that's not really it. I really want fairness for everybody, for Fred, for me, for the other businesses too as well. And you know, I don't know. It's just a lot in my mind right now. But you know, really, I just want the better days for our community, and I know we could do it if you know we all work and put our effort into it. You know, and I know a lot of you guys are like, you know, kind of like say, nah, this cannot happen, but it really could happen, because the best thing in life is to see how life grows. You know, and I see life grows in this community, in this businesses. You know, I did see it. I've been here every day for like 16 hours every day, and I see life grows in this business. You know, and we could do it, even though we're like beginners, we're like newbies, we just started. That's why we need you guys here to like give us the input. You know, just tell us what we need to do. It's like a father figure. You know, I grew up without a father figure, so I never knew how it is. But when I came in here and then see how you guys gave it to me, that what makes me stronger each and every day. You know, like even though like the shooting happened, I feel bad too. And not that we don't put support into it, or like we're not trying to stop it, you know, but we only could do so much, you know. And then from what you guys gave me, like 4 or 5 of you guys gave me, and that what makes me stand up to speak out. I didn't even want to be in this Zoom meeting, because I was meant to be that underdog. You know, I was meant to be the one that just shut up and just deal with it. You know, but then now I have support from you guys. That's why I want to speak out and say, hey, we're not the bad businesses. We're not the bad guys. You know, the bad guys is on the loose. You know, the bad guys right now is on the loose. We have to worry about those people, not the businesses. The businesses, they could change if you guys would give us a chance, you know, to teach us, to let us know. You
I
know,
appreciate. I don't mean. Yeah, I don't even mean to interrupt you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
No,
Michelle.
no, no. You're doing perfectly fine.
I'm really.
You're
I say this already. I just don't want to say too much because I'm gonna break down. Because it just hurt so much that why we even had to go through this. Like us as business owners still had to deal with all this stuff. You know, I go to sleep every night, say, when is it gonna be over? You know, just leave us alone. You know, we just want to make it better. We'll compromise with whatever you guys want. You know, but this wasn't even our fault. We was the victim. You know, and then we lost businesses because of the police didn't do their job right. You know, I'm not even bringing it up right now, but that's just a lot of stuff in my head. We lost businesses, and as an Asian person, I shouldn't say it because as long as the police did their job, then that's fine. But my spot shouldn't even got raided at all. They shouldn't even come in there with the dogs pooping everywhere in my permits and not even clean up. You know, that's just a bad, unprofessional job of the police. Like, period. You know, and it just hurt me is because I just want fairness for all of us, for Fred, for me, for the nail salon, for all of us, and we just trying to make the community happen. The El Cervantes city was a dead city. Was a dead city. I'm telling you, they did not have more than 2 businesses going on. When we came in, we should start bringing up everything. And I feel like we're not recognized. We're just being like, everything we've done is just like for no good. No, that's what I'm trying to say. And it's not that. I promise you guys, you know, we are good people. We will make this El Cervantes city the best city that there is in the North Bay. And I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee any one of you guys on here that's all I'm for. I'm for the good service. I'm for the kids. The kids come into my shop. If they don't have food, I will give them food. If they don't have Wi-Fi to do their homework, I will give them Wi-Fi to do their homework. We are not bad people. Fred is the same thing. Fred give good service to a haircut, his talent. He rank in Yelp 5-star. You know, if not 4.5, and you cannot get that anywhere. You know, and I'm just want you guys just to let us breathe one time. You know, let's just be ourselves, be our normal person. You know. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you. I want to acknowledge that I know this is very emotional. And first of all, I want to acknowledge that. And I want to thank both of you for sharing your stories tonight. I know you didn't have to be here tonight. It's a, you know, there's a lot, you know, going on that's very, very emotional. And I know that, you know, your businesses mean a lot to you. It represents your hopes and your dreams and all that you've invested. So I appreciate you for being here tonight. And I appreciate you for sharing that. And I just want you to know that I hear you.
Thank you.
And hopefully everybody else on the line hears. And I know it was very emotional, so not everybody introduced themselves, but True has the tea shop, Frederick has the barbershop. Just so you all are aware, I think, you know, you guys know that from the chat, so that they were able to introduce themselves. What I'd like to do right now is I'd like to open it up for and what I would like to do is either you can raise your hand and use your raise your hands feature, or you can drop it in the chat. But I'd like to open it up and have a discussion. So, you know, in the aftermath, obviously, of the shooting, I mean, I've been in Richmond a long time, and I've experienced a lot of violence personally and professionally in Richmond. I've lost friends. It's very traumatic when something like this happens. What kinds of things can we do together as a community? And that includes everyone, including the businesses are here, the residents who are on the line, and then also even with the police department. What kinds of things can we do as a community to help improve the safety of the business area and the neighborhood now? I would like to take some of those kinds of comments if people are ready to do that. And I'll look for your hand, and I'll also look for information in the chat. So I'll be toggling back and forth, but I'll try to get to as many people as I can. And please be aware that we have to end this meeting around like 7:10. So just be aware of that with your comments. Joanne, I see you next.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that I don't know if you as crime prevention or if the captain, anybody has looked at the social media for particularly the clothing store owner. I know that you can't talk about any investigation, but his social media, his Instagram in particular, has a late night party with strippers going on inside the clothing store, has pictures of firearms, has pictures of big, huge bags of weed, talking about come through, I got you. You can see the shop, the store floor in the background of the giant bag of weed. There's pictures of him smoking big blunts
Joanne,
in front of the shop.
I don't mean to interrupt you on this, and I definitely hear where you're coming from, but that's not something that we can discuss tonight. It's just not something we discuss. So this is really more, I hear what you're saying, but it's not something you asked, is it something that Captain YA or myself can discuss? And Captain YA, you can respond to that. The answer for me is no.
I just wanted, basically was wondering if people have seen it, because Fred was asking why people are pointing the finger at him or why this. But if you're friends with somebody who has their social media blazing with all of this stuff, I mean, you are the company you keep. So maybe that's what you need to look to as to why people might be pointing the finger at you, or why people might have some negative feelings about you, because that's your friend. So, I mean, I know your social media might not look like that, but if that's your friend, I'm sorry, if you are associated with the friends that you keep. So that's the answer to your question, I think.
Well, I appreciate your comment, Joanne. And what I would say is this, is that I'll reiterate. Again, anything that has to do with the investigation is not something we're going to be able to speak to tonight. Captain Wyatt, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
No, you're correct. It's still under investigation.
So I definitely hear what you're saying. I think they've heard what you've said. And I appreciate that comment, Joanne. But I am going to ask the people kind of focus actually on what we can do moving forward. And Rashawn, I think you're next.
Sorry. Hi, I'm new to this forum. I was just invited by my neighbor. So I'm trying to get an idea of what this forum is actually for. I'm a resident of El Sobrante. I was, I guess, I don't know what was happening. I was out of town when we came home to our neighbors being shot or something. But I'm just trying to understand what is this forum for exactly? This is my first time here. I don't know if this is a continuous thing or not.
Yeah.
Can I say something, Michelle, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sohaila Bana. I founded 94803 Emergency Preparedness Alliance to address safety issues within the community. We started with wildfire safety. Now we have neighborhood safety being discussed. So it's basically a forum for the community to come together, share, and find a solution. I'm going to put down my email address if you would like to join the mailing list. I understand some of you came through word of mouth or Nextdoor. Please join the mailing list and you can follow up the discussion, and also I'll share a link of this recording. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. And I was going to echo what Sohaila said. The forum really is to figure out, again, ways we can come together, whether it's improving lighting, improving, as we talked about, maybe doing a security survey, improving things in the neighborhood. What are some of the suggestions of what we can do to come together around neighborhood safety? There's a couple of suggestions that I can share from the department standpoint. I wanted to open it up to the community first before I shared those, but to see if there were any additional comments. But tonight's night is really about finding solutions. It's, we can't change what happened a couple of weeks ago, but what we can change is how we go forward together. So I hope that explains what it is. It's really us to come together as a community and find solutions. And this is not easy. I want to acknowledge this is not an easy conversation to have. And I really appreciate everybody's respectfulness in engaging in this kind of a conversation.
Can I say something, please, Michelle? I want to address the lady. Yes. Made it like it was somehow wrong for me to have friends from different walks of life. Listen, I got friends that's gay, straight, friends in biker clubs. I know Hell's Angels. I got friends in prison. I got friends that's free. I got friends in the San Francisco Financial District. I got friends that's homeless, that's on food stamps. I got friends that's well off, that drive Mercedes Benzes. A friend is a friend. How do a friend make me a bad person? You say I am my friend. I disagree with that, but thank you though. It was nice. Everything you said was nice, however you put it. But yeah, don't try to pass that off. Like if I have a friend, I'm responsible for everything that my friend does. I don't try to make it like that, because you my neighbor. Am I responsible if something happens at your house? Am I responsible for what you do every day? I'm not responsible for you. You're a grown person. I'm a grown person. I got 5 kids who I'm responsible for. I got 1-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old. I'm not responsible what somebody do. I got friends that's in the country illegally. They come there and get haircuts. And some people agree with it, some people don't. It's a sanctuary state, last time I checked. So just because you got a difference of opinion, if somebody smoke weed or whatever, and I'm happy to be friends with that person, only thing I do is send blessings their way and hope that person can change their life if they're doing something wrong, or only thing I do is blessings. I got friends that's in jail right now. I got friends that's like judges and lawyers, literally. You know what I mean? I got a lawyer that's a friend of mine. If he go to court and he represent a child molester and he's a lawyer, he's still my friend. I don't agree with him representing a child molester in court, but he's a lawyer, he's my friend, he doing his job. Don't blame me for what somebody else do. Let's talk about like what I did, my part in it. Because you don't use, that's called using somebody as a scapegoat. That's exactly what that's called. That's called a scapegoat.
I appreciate that.
Please don't do that. Thank you though. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate her voice, Joanne. I appreciate your voice. And I ain't mad at you or nothing, but I just disagree with you. I'm not my friends.
I appreciate that, Fred, and I appreciate you being able to have some discourse about that. I want to make sure also, because we're limited on time, and I want everybody to get an opportunity to ask the question that they can, is that we get to some of these raised hands, and I'm going to go to the chat. So the order will be Darcy, Rob, and Pam. Go ahead, Darcy.
My question has to do with, in our last meeting, we talked about the possibility of putting up security lights at the plaza, that would help. Officer Zaidan suggested that might be a good idea. Another suggestion was a chain, after hours, blocking cars from going in the parking lots.
Yes. So I'm taking down notes for some of the suggestions that's happening. And so you guys already previously have spoken about, requesting to see if there's a possibility to get security lights and chains. So I'm going to take that down and see if that's something that, we can talk about doing together before the end of the night. We can review some of those. So thank you, Darcy. I appreciate that. Rob.
You're muted, Rob.
You're muted, Rob.
Yeah, I apologize about that. What I was saying is that I'm an attorney, as indicated with my name. I'm also the sibling of Danielle Garrison, who's the president of the HOA. And just in terms of what I'm hearing here, I think that practical considerations, a pragmatic approach would be, essentially that you have some type of security guards at the businesses. I mean, the thing is, like in terms of the customer base, you would want to protect your own customers. So a reasonable way of being able to deal with that would be increased security to make sure that things are not occurring on the property. So I think in terms of pragmatics, that would be, I'm a landlord myself. So, the thing is, you have to make sure that the property is in a way that people are not being endangered on the property. And, everyone has to take the responsibility to make sure that, essentially that these acts are not happening within the community. So, I really think that you need to kind of look for a step-by-step approach in terms of what you can do to try to make this better. But I think security guards are going to be your first part of dealing with issues with it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Fred, I believe that security is a good idea. So thank you for that, Fred. And I also see someone mentioned other things. So we'll come back to the chat. Go ahead, Pam.
Thank you. This may seem abstract, but it actually is in line with your goal of finding solutions. So just as a community member, it's a little confusing to me what actually happened, where it actually happened, and how it might be tied or not tied to some of the other events that are happening, like the sideshow that happened and like a couple of armed robberies that have happened. And I believe there have been 2 other shootings. I could be wrong about 2, but I believe that's the case within the last month. So what is the solution that I'm bringing up? Well, tonight we have 50 people on this call. I've been on other calls where there's only been 3 or 4 people. So if there could be some way that there could be more knowledge about what's going on, I think more of us would become more informed and involved. And then maybe there would be more neighborhood watch signs up, more community people would have their eyes peeled so that they would see who are these people that are coming into El Sobrante? Are they gang members? Is it overflow from Oakland because the restrictions there are getting tighter? In other words, in order to prevent these issues, I think more community members need to be aware of the issues, and then more eyes need to be looking so that we can catch them before they start becoming a kind of becoming a normal situation where this is what we have to deal with on a regular basis. So my solution is more community knowledge about what's happening. I mean, Neighbor is a good place to see things, but it's very chaotic. You have to kind of run through all the threads. It's very confusing. You don't necessarily see where is there a bulletin board where there are the crimes going on, and how could more neighbors be involved in having neighborhood watches? That's the bottom line.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And to respond to your question about Neighborhood Watch, so I think that probably was one of the reasons why Sohelia might have asked me to do this, is that my unit helps train folks who are interested in starting Neighborhood Watch. We actually have a couple of hundred neighborhood watch groups throughout the city. I see that some of my former block captains are actually on this call. And we would be happy to work with anybody who's interested in starting a neighborhood watch and getting trained to do that, to help you get your neighborhood watch set up. Neighborhood watch is a good way to help keep the neighborhood informed, which is what I heard you say, is that we need to know about things that are going on. And it's a good way to communicate both with the department and other community members to find out what's happening, and really kind of do what we're doing tonight, is to brainstorm some solutions and ways that we can help impact that. So we'd be happy, I know, as a department, to work with any of the groups that are online. I know we have a couple of neighborhood watches that are active in your neighborhood right now. If there are other groups that want to join, I'm happy to work with you on that. The other thing that you brought up, and I'm going to go back to the chat in just a minute, is you asked, Captain YA, maybe you can respond to, general crime in the area. So, are these things kind of related? We can't talk about specifics of the investigation, but if you want to speak to kind of general crime in the area, and I know you mentioned sideshow shows, maybe that's something, Captain YA, you can speak to. And then I'll go back to the chat after Captain YA.
Yeah, that was a part of the conversation that we had during the last meeting. A lot of people feel that there's crime associated with the barbershop and the clothing store, but our crime statistics don't really reflect that. There may be gang members shopping, there may be gang members getting haircuts. That isn't necessarily against the law. We can't shut down a 7-Eleven because they go there shopping, or Safeway because they're shopping. But unfortunately, when gang members meet, sometimes bad things happen. So unfortunately, it seems like that's probably what happened in this case. My personal opinion, I believe business owners need to be responsible. Community members need to be responsible by reporting crime, and we ourselves have to be proactive in trying to prevent crime ourselves too. Officer Zaydan is on the call. He actually was there the night of the shooting, patrols that neighborhood, is actually patrolling there now. But if you really want to help, report crime, report suspicious activity so we can look into it. And if we can link stuff to a particular business, then we'll address it. But at this point right now, there's no evidence that there's any crime, as far as that's being called into us, is associated with these businesses, although the the shooting is still under investigation. So businesses' involvement is still unknown at this time.
Okay, thank you, Captain YA. And going back to the chat, because a lot of you have dropped some questions in the chat, and I want to make sure that we get to some of those comments. Some of the questions are, or the comments are, there's a lot of folks in El Sobrante who might, smoke cannabis, so it's not really an issue. Raises the questions of people who are watching out for their neighborhood to make sure that people aren't stereotyped about who's coming into their neighborhood. So, that's really a comment about making sure that, when you report something, that you're reporting, those things through a lens that doesn't indicate, bias. We all have biases, but we really need to make sure that when we're reporting things that we're reporting as clearly as we can. And that's something that we do have a whole section about that in our neighborhood watch training if people are interested in that implicit bias training. And then there was some comments about Nextdoor. Nextdoor maybe not being the best venue for sharing information. And there might be other ways that information can be shared, like in a community watch or a watch group. And of course, we're happy to help you all do that if that's something you're interested in. And then another comment, and I think this is more pertaining to solutions, is when you say security, I'm assuming you mean private security. But security doesn't really do anything. I know other stores have hired security, but the guards were told not to interfere. Take Walgreens, for example. So I think that comment is more around, if security is brought in, how can you make sure that the security is effective? So that's something that we can, go over as we kind of look at the solutions in the last portion of our comments tonight. So I'm writing all of these down so we can come back to them. Another comment is we have an ethnically mixed neighborhood, and know that many of our neighbors by sight. So, but we can't know everyone who they're associated with or friends. And then, this was another question kind of along the same lines around, is El Sobrante an opportunity for this kind of crime to happen? And I would respond to that by saying, crime can happen anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you are. I actually don't live too far from you all. I'm considered your neighbor, and it can happen anywhere. Just looking for space and opportunity. So I don't think that it's particularly El Sobrante is opportunistic. I think that criminals look for certain things, to be able to help them do what they need to get done. And if those opportunities present themselves, that's what happens. And what we do when we do crime prevention is we focus on how can we reduce that opportunity. So for example, and this is just an example, we see a lot of car break-ins, and a lot of people leave good, expensive stuff in their car that people want, or even if it doesn't seem so expensive, somebody wants to break the window to get in because they think that's something of value. So one of the ways you deal with crime prevention is to address the opportunity. Going back through again, trying to get to some of these that are solutions.
I'm sorry for interruption, Michelle, but I understand Jelani's here. Would you like to also give him a chance?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jelani. I do want to make sure that I give you a chance because I gave everyone else a chance to kind of talk about what your impressions are and how you'd like to work with the community to help build together. I did explain to everybody, I don't know how much you heard, is that tonight was really a night about finding solutions from the organizers of what we can do together. So I want to give you an opportunity of maybe a couple of minutes to share, and then we'll go back to the comments.
And Jelani is the boutique shop owner, the boutique owner.
About that and for Chris. So, I don't want to keep you all short, but I know we are scheduled to go here to around 7:10-ish. So, just keep that in mind with your comments. Go ahead, Jelani.
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I think you might be muted.
Hello, you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, we can hear
you. How everybody doing this evening? Okay. Yeah, I'm the boutique owner, and my concerns is the safety. I'm voting for the having security That's what we mainly need, because it can be car break-ins, it can happen anywhere, and anything can happen at any time. So I'm mainly voting for the safety of the community and our safety as well. So I'm voting for like security around the neighborhood, as well as our parking lot. And I don't want to hold up too much of y'all time, but that's really my main concern. That's really my main concern, is being safe around there, and everybody that's around there being safe with me. So I'm voting for it. We need security. That's my main concern. We need police to be around the clock. I mean, we for business, like anything can happen up there, to where I didn't save the person. A lady and her child ran to my store and said a Mexican dude that was on a bike was following them. I walked them all the way from my store to like 3 blocks, and that was kind of scary to me. So I'm really voting for the security to be at an all-time high at right there at Valley View.
Thank you, Jelani. I think that I heard several of the other owners tonight said that they would be interested in security. And I know some of the residents who are on the line were concerned about that as well. So perhaps that is something that could be a potential next step for immediate of what we can do. And I also hear your concern about trying to make sure that as much as we can, we try to get more patrol up there. So I appreciate both of those comments and the suggestion. I see that Chris is on the line. Chris, did you want to have a few words?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we addressed the rumor that there are guns found at the businesses, and that wasn't the case. I talked to every one of the business owners, and they said that there wasn't anything found in their businesses. I guess that makes sense, since they're all still here and not in jail. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. And I got a few calls that said that they thought that the business owners had a raid and they found guns there and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure that that's clear, that none of that happened. These business owners are all up and up, all legal. They're basically trying to just run their business, make a living, just like everybody else in this community. So I think we should try to give them benefit of the doubt when you do have that doubt, and just kind of move forward from there. Thank you.
Yeah, no guns was found. No guns was found in my shop.
Yeah, and go ahead, Jelani. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you.
No, I was just thinking, sorry, it's a little time lag. I was just thanking Chris for your comments. And, the only thing I was going to say for anybody who came on late is that, this still is a pending investigation. So there's some details that we won't necessarily be discussing tonight. So just want to make sure that that's clear for anybody who hopped on after I said that in the beginning.
When will there be an in-person meeting?
Probably not anytime soon in terms of COVID-19, unless the community feels like, that's something that you guys want to do. It just depends on how comfortable people feel with the COVID restrictions. But if you guys want to have an in-person meeting, that would really be up to the community group, if that's something you guys want to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind an in-person meeting. I'd rather in-person than this on Zoom.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. And, we've been, not in person for quite some time. So I appreciate that. Going back to the hands that are raised, and just so I'm not going to, you all can read the chat. So I was trying to search the chat for, actual suggestions for solutions or questions. So in terms of the neighborhood watch question, neighborhood watch can help in general, because number one, you get to know who your neighbors are. And you may not know everybody who's associated with a business or a particular residence, but, neighborhood watch is about getting to know people. It's not about being in your neighbor's business. It really is about, getting to form some relationships so that you understand, who your neighbors are, and you make some kind of, connection with your neighbors. And it's really about building that kind of trust and that kind of community support. So if it's something that people would like to do, like I said before, the department would be happy to help you all with the training for that. I will come back to some of the questions in the chat. I see there's a lot of hands up, and we have, just about 15 minutes left. So I'm going to go with Danielle. Rashawn, unless it's something that's been answered before, I'll go with you again. And then I see Judy, I see True, I see Nancy. So go ahead, Danielle.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Danielle Garrison. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. We're the 43 homes that are behind the strip mall. And so I've been at the last 2 meetings, not representing myself, but I'm here to represent our community. So I want to start by actually speaking directly to Chris and then the businesses as a follow-up. So when the Homeowners Association originally had reached out to Chris, the landlord, it was to discuss concerns about hours of operation. So you have a face, businesses, I want you to be able to see a face, homeowners that had expressed a concern that businesses were staying open in the strip mall very late. The reason I'm bringing this up is because that is one of the things that has changed. And I do believe that that is helping to move us towards having a safer community. So I want to thank Chris, the landlord, for working with the businesses to communicate that we're in a community that probably shouldn't have businesses open at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Homeowners would be coming home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The barber shop would be open. The boutique would be open. This is what was communicated to me as the president. And I had shared this with the landlord.
That was a lie. Not to cut you off, but that was a blatant lie. That was a straight lie.
Fred,
okay.
Whoever said that, I would like them to be pointed out too. For lying,
Fred,
like people shouldn't get up here and lie though. Sorry about that,
I
but like lying though, if we're not gonna be truthful, if we're not gonna be truthful, 2, 3 in the morning is open. Come on, we're not gonna be truthful.
So listen, I want to thank Chris for working with I really do want to thank Chris for working with the business owners to really just talk about hours of operation when they're happening. We have not seen in the last couple of weeks late hours. We have not. One of the other concerns that the homeowners had was the amount of cars in the parking lot because of safety reasons. Homeowners were concerned that kids are coming across from the school, individuals are walking, cars are pulling in and out of the parking lot. There's a lot of business going on in the strip mall, which is good. We're not upset about that. Our concern was the amount of cars going in and out. How can we do something? And the community behind you is happy to help with this. How can we work together as the 43 homeowners and the strip mall to help to control traffic? So I know one of the things we talked about was a security guard. What about looking at having a parking attendant, somebody who is out there just to help to control cars? Because that also has been a concern. It has gotten better. It is much better since I reached out to Chris on behalf of the homeowners. So I do feel like the businesses, I do want to say this, I think it's important. Our 43 homeowners see the businesses every day. I see certain things. We're speaking on what we're actually seeing. We're not here to say something bad about the business. We're here to say, how can we live behind you safely? 2 of the homeowners directly behind you, their homes had bullets that went through their windows. We're not blaming the business. We're saying the business had something happen to it. What can we do? Parking has gotten better.
What business are you talking about? What business are you talking about for one?
The strip mall in front of the homes.
Oh, that's not one business, it's 4. So
I know, but that's but Fred,
and
what I'm saying
2, we need to take prejudice out of it. We need to take prejudice out of it too. Like people judging people just
I'm not
off
sure, Fred, I'm not sure what prejudice there is. I'm speaking of the 4 businesses.
No, when somebody tells a blatant lie about they seen a barbershop in operation at 2-something in the morning, that's a lie. Okay. And then also, like, we were victims too. True had just like your homeowners had holes in their stuff. My car got shot, and we all got bullets shot at us.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, but I think what she's saying is, what can we do together? This is not. I wouldn't be a part of something that's a gotcha. This is not a gotcha game, and I can't speak for everybody. But when I talked to you before this call, I think I told you, my goal was to try to see what we can do together. She is making some suggestions of things, whether it's security or parking attendants. We talked about traffic control. We talked about hours of operation. She actually thanked you guys for what you did about the hours of operation. So we're talking about solutions. I know that some people may have, their thoughts about whatever's going on, but I think what you are suggesting is solutions. And if you go ahead and finish with that.
So the other thing I want to thank, and again, Drew said this at the beginning, again, I'm speaking not for just myself. Please understand that I'm a representative of 43 homes that are immediately attached to the strip mall. I want to thank the garbage, because that also was a concern by homeowners. You have definitely been making every effort, garbage, controlling traffic, and keeping it more safe in the parking lot. I want to thank Chris and the businesses for doing that. My follow-up question is, one of the things I'd expressed was, can we do something about signs? Can we put something on the building that says no loitering? Loitering can lead to unsafe things happening. If there's groups of people standing in the parking lot, whatever business, there's lots of people coming in and out. You have 4 very busy businesses in the strip mall. Can we have signs that say, please no loitering? Can we have a way of helping, obviously monitoring the traffic, but also really thinking about how can we make sure that because we've seen some criminal activity here, how can we keep moving people safely so that nobody gets hurt, that businesses, you can be successful, homeowners can feel safe. So signs, things like saying no loitering, we talked about lights, parking attendant, security guard. Do we know what cameras have been installed? So this is kind of a question direct to Chris. Chris, you had said in the last meeting that you would work with the police on mobile cameras, I believe is what was stated from the police officers. Where are we on that? Do we have some kind of cameras that we're using so that if something does happen, we're able to go after the people that are doing the things?
Daniel, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know we're short on
No,
time.
I understand. Thank you.
You brought up a lot of great points and we want to make sure that we get to all of them.
I understand. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for giving me the time.
Chris,
Just real quick, Michelle, I just want to know what other crime. I know a shooting happened, but what other crimes? When they say crimes and they put it plural, I just think that's like people like secretly sliding in jabs, like the sliding in jabs. What crimes?
Well, I think they're talking
about
crimes in the area, and you know
okay, yeah, because we talking about the strip mall.
Yeah,
they saying crimes and using words like criminals and just sliding smoothly veiling in jabs at people and throwing smut on people. It was one crime happened. The shooting happened, and that was terrible.
All we're talking about tonight, Fred, is the strip mall. There's other crimes that people might be concerned about in the neighborhood. That's because you have neighborhood people in addition to that. So they're probably talking about other things that are happening in their neighborhood. But what the strip mall is specifically related to that incident that happened there. I want to get because I want to have time at the end for us to go over some of these solutions and see what you guys agree to. So Rashawn, if you guys could, keep it short. Rashawn, Judy, True, and Nancy. So please kind of keep your comments to about less than a minute.
So I was just going to say, there's a lot of attention being focused on the barbershop or the strip mall or wherever that is. I don't know about that. But what I was going to say, in our neighborhood, and we're in El Sobrante, we've created our own neighborhood watch on our block. We do need more lights. The lighting is horrible. But we also all installed the ring. It was a little bit costly, but we did that. We also have connections. We have everyone's phone number. When there's some suspicious activity, we're calling, we're texting. Hey, we see something at your home. So we are getting involved. My husband works for Alameda County Sheriff Department. So we pretty much have I have a son and a daughter. So we try to stay connected with all of our neighbors, which seems to be helping. And I just wanted to throw that out there for those who's, because we've been focusing on these businesses, but I'm also concerned because I'm a resident. We don't have businesses out here, but I think that's an important aspect to think about in terms of residents as well. More lights, installing the ring, motion sensor lights are a big plus for us. When there's movement around our home, the lights automatically are super bright. So those are just some suggestions. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. And I'm taking all those down and I'll read them back at the end. Judy.
People have made the suggestions that, in terms of lighting, the chain at the entrance of the parking lot at the end of the night, hours, et cetera. A parking attendant seems a little much to me. I also want to be concerned about the cost to the businesses. These are small businesses and we want them to be successful. What I would also like to encourage is that if Neighborhood Watch in that area could incorporate the businesses in the Neighborhood Watch. We've had experience with working with businesses in an area where we had an office that was residential and commercial. And it was really, really powerful to have businesses and neighbors actually meeting and communicating together and making ongoing suggestions or pointing out issues that people may not be aware of, either residents or businesses. And that's probably enough for now. I could go on, but we're short. So thank you.
Thank you. All really good points and suggestions. I took those down. And True,
You're on mute.
True, you might be muted.
All right. So my suggestion is like I agree with Danielle and Judy and Nancy and all them. We should have signs of like no smoking, no loitering, like maybe like 2-hour parking or something like that, you know. And also I have a little concern about the church that's right on Morningside. They have this little space that is like they do not use, but then they're dumping like a lot of trash is there. So then my suggestion is like if we as a community could ask them for a space that they would help us have more parking space in the area, and hopefully that would make things better. But I don't know, that's up to you guys to think about it. But that was just one of my suggestions, because I think that space that is not occupied right now is being used for like high schoolers to like smoke dope or like doing all these bad stuff behind the churches, and then the churches are not being responsible for it, and then it's just making the area look bad. So and it is, and then like all the trees are like so overgrown, and it's like blocking all these electrical poles and stuff like that.
Very good speaker.
So I don't know if you guys could take that into consideration, but I kind of see that kind of like a bad as a problem already. So I mean, I'm agreeing with the sign and stuff like that. The sign is like all cool, you know, like because you sometimes people need to like kind of like a reassurance, you know, like, hey, there's a sign that say, hey, you cannot do this, you know, instead of like having like no sign. They're like, oh, I can do whatever I want, you know. A sign's always a good thing. So I don't think about like security guard and stuff like that, because like what if somebody come up with an AK and stuff like that and just start shooting up the security guard? It make no difference, you know. But having signs and stuff like that, and like neighbor watch, that'd be cool too, you know, and just watching out for each other. I think that's the best thing. But the church that having the space that is not occupied, we could probably do something about that, you know.
Thank you, True.
Thank you. Yep.
The last comment is Nancy, and then we're going to go to some of these suggestions so that we can kind of come up with some next steps. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad that we're all talking together because I think the best step we can all make is to communicate with each other and come up with ways that we can improve what's going on in our community and keep our community safe. And I do, you know, I also was part of the business and resident neighborhood watch group on 25th Street with Judy, and it was very powerful. I think that if we had a lead that was a business owner and a lead that was a resident, a lot of these things that we're talking about could come to the neighborhood watch group and be kind of, you know, sorted out there, because it's hard to do all of that on a big, huge Zoom when we're still healing from a tragedy that happened. The things that people have been suggesting are things that we've been meeting with a couple of the business owners, and these are all suggestions that we've also encouraged them to do and to talk to Chris about. And I think the other thing that I think would be really good is if a business owner notices that people are loitering, ask them to leave, you know, ask them to move on, come in, get your tea, come in, get your haircut, and then you leave. And also to have a timeline on some of the changes that would be good for the strip mall. A timeline for when signs will go up, a timeline for when any of the changes that are happening. So maybe by next month, you all could report back and let us know how things are going. We passed by there today and the parking lot looked great. It's the first time I saw that it was, you know, in really nice shape. So something's changing, and that's always a good thing. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
So I think I see a couple of things and common threads that have come up. And there's two kind of pots that I see. And thank you, Chris, for that comment about the cameras. So one is for the business side and one is for really kind of the community side. And then we have ways that we can improve communication. So the one thing I hear very loudly and clearly from this group is a way to improve communication. And so people have asked, well, where can I get information about what's happening in my neighborhood or what's going on? So there's a couple ways you can get it. If you just want an overview of what's happening from the police department standpoint, I can send you all the link for crimemapping.com, where you can take a look at it up and kind of see what's going on. But having some kind of a structure, if you guys decide to start a watch group, is a good way to stay informed of what happens. A watch group and a business group has been suggested, so that maybe there's a community, business and resident watch group that we could get started to work together. Nancy suggested maybe a lead from the business side and a lead from the community side. So that's not necessarily a decision that you need to make tonight, but I think it would be a good next step. It sounds like that's one of the things that's being suggested. I heard security over and over and over again. So security seems to be, Chris, one of the things that the community is really asking about. I know security is expensive and there's a cost for security. And we also do realize and had some comments that security can't be everywhere at one time. And security is limited. They don't have the same function as the police. But as you guys know, we as the police department don't have all the same, resources that we used to have to be able to do some of the things that we'd like to do as well. But security has come up. Hours of operation, it sounds like you guys have already started on that. And people seem overall, I think the comments are they're pleased about limiting the hours of operation. I also on the business side heard about parking limits or traffic control. Parking attendant may be too expensive to do, but maybe there's a way to limit parking there to a certain period of time. And then that way, you would have some parking limits for people who are parking there, for the time being that they are engaging with the service. I heard everybody seems to kind of have some common agreements around no loitering signs and cameras. And I'm going to give Chris a moment in a minute to talk about the cameras. And then on the community concern side, because I did hear stuff from the community saying that, having a neighborhood watch, getting to know your neighbors, getting to be more engaged, coming up with some kind of system to communicate so people are well informed is one step. And again, we do have block captain training that's set up for crime prevention next month. Or if you guys have a group of folks who want to get trained, I'll come out and do the training for you. We can pick a night that we want to do it. We can do it remotely. We're doing it online. We can definitely do that. I also heard about lights and lighting, lighting for the business side and maybe lighting in the areas of the community that are dark, that are size where the city needs to come in and rectify the lighting situation. And then, also just more connection with the residents and connecting in a way, whether it's neighborhood watch or just getting to know one another. So those are some of the suggestions that I see that have some common themes. And I also see that there's some information about, and I did hear about the illegal dumping. True. Thank you for that. And obviously we can put that on the list of things to take to the city. That's something that a neighborhood watch group could work on. But Chris, did you, before we close out, want to talk a little bit about the cameras?
I didn't really
Michelle,
have any
before we
update on
close,
cameras.
sorry, I just wanted to say something. First of all, if anybody's in connection with that church, please let me know. It'd be nice to bring them into the discussion. If anybody knows any contact for the church, please let me know. And Michelle, if you could at the end ask Captain Wyatt and Officer Zaydan to provide a summary of the other crime and sideshows and anything that is beneficial for us to know, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
We do that. Go ahead, Chris. Did you have any
interruption?
Go ahead, Chris. Did you say you didn't have any more comments about cameras?
Yeah, I didn't have any updates because I think they're talking about the city cameras, and I haven't gotten any additional information on that stuff.
Do you have a point person that can work with you from the city on city cameras, or was there someone from the last meeting who you were connecting with? Was that Captain YA?
Yeah, it was, and I tried leaving a message. I haven't got anything back yet, so no update right now.
Right now, so maybe you and Captain YA could follow up with the cameras. So Chris, would it be okay if it sounds like, at least from the business owners who are on the line, who talked tonight, that are you all open to some of those suggestions that we just talked about? The security, maybe some kind of parking limits, the signage, looking into cameras. Are you all open to have discussions about that? And would you be willing to work with someone as a part of this group to follow up on those things?
Oh, definitely willing to work with
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, I just want to try to make it as effective as possible, because there are some things that some of the suggestions I'm not sure how effective they actually will be. So I think we should probably work with the police on trying to figure out what's actually the most effective use of resources to try to get this problem cleaned up.
Okay, and I see it. I see the comments about the open house. So what I'll do is I will send these recommendations to Sohalia so she has them. And then for the community concerns, I will work with Sohalia and the planning and organizers on areas where you feel like there needs to be improved lighting. I can't promise anything, obviously, because the city is strapped, but the public works team is trying to get out and repair lighting as need be. But we can definitely look into that. And for Neighborhood Watch, most happy to work with you all on setting that up, or a combined Neighborhood Watch and Business Watch. So that will be the follow-up that I have on that side from the city for that piece. So before we adjourn, I want to once again thank everybody who's been on the line. And before I go to Officer Dan to talk about anything that they would like to update the community on. And thank you for participating in this discussion. I hope it was valuable to you. And I hope that we all took away something that we can work on, and we have something that we can do together. So I'll turn it back over to Captain Wyatt.
Just want to let everyone know that on October 26th, the police department has an agenda item regarding sideshows. Before City Council will be asking for more resources. So please stay tuned for that and show your support. And I'll leave it over to Officer Zaydan. Officer Zaydan's actually working the streets now if he's still on the call. Maybe you can talk about some of the concerns you're seeing out there and what the community can do to help us do a better job.
Cool.
Officer Zaydan, I don't know if he might be on a call. I'm not sure if it can pull up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. I was on mute. I'm sorry. Okay, just I heard a couple of questions. The last meeting we had, we talked about cameras and we talked about the lights. I do believe the good lightings in the shopping center will make a big difference, and the businesses need to take responsibility and get those lights going pretty quick. And cameras, you need good cameras. And when I say cameras, I'm not talking about one or two going in and out. I'm talking about all around the complex. The more cameras you have, the better. This way, it works in two ways. One, as a deterrent. And number two, if something happens, we're able to get license plates, we're able to get descriptions of suspects, and we're able to address these issues. And that's probably the easiest one before I even think about getting a parking attendant or a security guard. Because a lot of these companies have hands-off rules. All they can do is just report. Another thing is someone mentioned about the connection between the shooting and the side shows. As far as we know so far, there's none. There's no connection whatsoever. They're both separate issues on their own. And I'm sure we discussed the side show from the last time. But like Captain Waya said, the city is going to address that hopefully very soon. And as soon as I find more things about that, I will address it with you. And for the church, I actually spoke. I've been dealing with the church the last couple of days. The church was victimized by a couple of juveniles from the high school. I have the pastor's direct line contact if you guys need it. I will check with him to see if I can give it to you, and I will do that. But the church was vandalized yesterday, and luckily, one of your residents that live in the area was able to call us and give us information, and I was able to identify the two suspects, and the detectives have the case and they're working on it now.
Thank you. That was a lot.
Thank you.
I think that was really helpful. And so I think, you identified, if we could work on maybe prioritizing the cameras, maybe that is the first step, because that would help us to be able to have more identification tools.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, it sounds like there's some follow-up. So on the business side, Chris, you can work with Captain YA, and maybe we can identify someone from this group to work as part of that team on some of those suggestions and prioritize them of which ones make the most sense. And then again, I can also work with you guys on follow-up for the neighborhood watch piece of it. Thank you for everyone who was on the call, and I'll turn it back over to Sahalia to close out.
Thank you very much. I think we did great. Despite, all the different ways of thinking, we came together, found a common denominator of different steps we can take for the security and increasing safety in the neighborhood. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. I just saw a question, and I know people are curious about the recent shooting for a robbery that happened on the Villa, I guess. If Captain Waye or officers, they don't know about it, if you could update us on that.
Yes, could you please? That's right across the street from my house.
Did I say the name of this?
My knowledge is not associated with either the sideshow or any of the stores there. I'm not sure if Officer Zaydan has anything more on that.
And no, sir, I don't. As far as I know, none of that stuff is related.
Okay, no arrest has been made, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think the next step is, Michelle, you would provide a summary of the outcome of discussion to me, and I'll share it with the community. I will also send the link to everyone. And thank you, Captain Wyatt, for informing us about the upcoming City Hall event on October 26th. Everyone, there's a petition going on for the sideshows to the City Council. Teresa, who initiated it, has put a link here. Please sign it if you could and share it with your neighbors. And let's continue working together. If there's a need for another Zoom gathering, we'll get together to update on the progress, perhaps in a month or two. Michelle, what do you think? And Chris, if you can tell us when we should follow up on the progress of the measures we agreed upon tonight. In 2 months?
I'd be happy to.
Sure.
Okay, very good. So we'll meet again in 2 months to follow up on the progress of the commitments and everything. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I'm very proud of our community for doing this, coming together. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Celia.
Appreciate
it.
Thank you, Michelle and everyone.
Everyone.
Thanks, Serge, Nancy, Judy, Maury.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Time to
Thank you,
celebrate being
Nancy.
a
Thank you,
community.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody, man.
Thanks, Drew and Fred and everyone.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Really good job, community. We can do this.
Yeah, we're good.
can.
We can.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
All the
Bye.
best
Good
to the
night.
business